grams of protein a day. As we've already built my body, I'm not building a body. So when you have your 2 grams of protein met, any more protein, your body knocks off the nitrogen and you got a carbohydrate.
I was wanting to talk to you about this specifically with protein.
That's why these protein powders are very dangerous.
So say this again. The protein.
So a protein is a carbohydrate with a nitrogen molecule.
Mm-hmm.
When your body has enough of the amino acids to do its job, you take more protein in and you don't need it. Your body knocks off that nitrogen, and it's a carbohydrate. So you have now just more carbohydrates.
Extra carbohydrates in your
So if you keep eating tuna without oil or whatever, just that tuna fish,
just protein,
you will get carbohydrate if you eat more than you need.
So is this why? Because I mean, I know of having too much protein and its impact on your liver, your body, and your kidneys. It can be hard on your liver and kidneys. So I want to ask you, when I was driving here, I was thinking, I want to talk about your idea of the perfect protein balance. Because in the trainer world, this is 1 gram of protein per ideal body weight. This is suggested by like Dr. Gabrielle.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah, please. This is what
because this is my issue with nutrition.
Yeah,
is they want to make it scientific
and a calculator.
They don't care about the taste. They don't care about the flavor and the essence and the smell. And you see, good nutrition must taste wonderful. It must make you salivate. It must make you feel good. And you see, if you're doing these, that's why, see, what I find difficult with the nutritionists is they will substitute a beautiful steak dinner with salad with a pill or a powder or a supplement, the Purium people.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Purium.
Yeah.
But it's big on Kauai, and all these women are selling Purium and making millions of dollars, and it makes me sick. Because all these women are doing all this powdered food. I'm like, you think powdered beet is the same as a goddamn roasted beet? It's not.
Yeah, it's different.
It's not. And in that's why the Chinese I love, because when they make a herbal tea, you have to drink it. You don't get to just take pills. Because if you take the pill, your body because the tongue is the very beginning. Well, first the nose.
Yes.
The eyes, the nose. But the tongue is the beginning of salivation. And your tongue tells your stomach what to prepare for.
Let's make some stomach
the
acid.
Taste tells your stomach how to digest. But if you're taking pills and powders and everything's all smushed together in a smoothie, your body goes like, well, what? I mean, it works, but it's how we lost our taste. Because I believe Americans have lost their taste. They don't know how to taste good food.
This is interesting.
Oh yeah, it's a big problem.
Well, and like there's a part
it's another thing, but what I want to say, that's why I don't like saying you need to do this much protein to this ratio of body fat.
So
Who
macros.
the fuck wants to live like that?
Yeah, so you don't like macros. You don't like the idea of
macrobiotic, you mean?
Like the macros saying X amount of percent of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And so in the world of whatever you want to call it, nutrition, tracking, these calculated apps, people are used to seeing, okay, I want to have 30%.
About this shit I don't even know.
Yeah, see, because that goes to show how you don't value it for health, right? But most people who are really into health, like they're trying to be healthy.
Well, because we have no traditions.
Yeah,
you see, our nourishing traditions. It's tradition. That's why if you go to Europe, in France, a whole town makes your fucking mustard. A whole town. They grow the mustard seed. They have the vinegar. They make they're involved in making a food that they're so proud of. And when you find out these foods, they don't make a cheese in 6 weeks. And add lemon to it or something. No, they let it sit for 3 years in a cave. And then you eat that. That's what Roquefort cheese is. So you understand there was an art and a skill to our food and our culinary desires. And what we've done is we've turned it into pill popping and,
and powders. And
there's this really great movie called Idiocracy. And people are going around eating tubs of like
pills.
No, it's like lard.
Oh my god!
Not even lard. I wish it was lard. It's like Crisco oil with flavor.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's really gross, and it's a joke. It's a comedy, but it is kind of basically when you see people who can eat, like a Twinkie or whatever people call. I mean, some of the food people eat, I'm like, you have no taste. You can't taste. You don't even. And when you open a bag of chips, it's rancid oil.
Yeah.
You can smell it a mile away. People don't smell it anymore.
Yes.
I go up to anywhere there's a fryer because I can't stand fried. In fact, that fried oil is bad for people. Even if you don't eat it, it gets in your skin and it interferes.
You're smelling it.
Well, it's also in your pores.
It's in your pores because you're absorbing it.
Yes.
Yes.
So my thing is, I would like to introduce people to get away from this calculation because food should not be calculated because you take all the joy out of it. It's like making your sex life into a calculation.
Yes,
which
like
they've
what?
done.
Yes,
which
right.
people have done. They're fucking stupid. I'm like, oh, I see. So you're what? You're not going to make love because it's out right timing. It's because no, this is the schedule. We have to make love today.
Yeah.
So no one can perform.
Yes.
Because we're not supposed to be automated. We're not machines.
Yes. You know, it's
But
really
anyway,
interesting.
so that's kind of my ethical
taking the joy. Well, I think it brings in a new piece to food. Enjoyment, pleasure is to actually like enjoy the food, enjoy sex, enjoy life because
it's pleasure.
This
You're
comes
designed for this.
Yes, and it comes back to the whole thing of stress. Why do you think that we're in such big stresses? Every time if I sit down to eat my meal and I'm too worried about what percentage I have of everything, even if I'm doing the best thing that I could ever know possible, being in a state of chronic stress is not going to allow me the chance to even absorb the nutrients that are good quality nutrients. It's just being in that state.
So the most important thing is to really enjoy your food. That's how your body absorbs it. Mm-hmm. So like when I tell people, look, I have a mother, every time she ate, she goes, oh, I shouldn't eat, I'm so fat, before she ate.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, dang. I mean, I spent my life with a woman like that, and I carried it on. She was she wasn't anorexic, but she could have been, she always wanted to be thin. That was the bane of women, right? Mm-hmm. Thin. Look at the white, thin, skinny woman. Mm-hmm. And they don't eat. Anorexia only affects white, middle-class women. Mm-hmm. It doesn't affect any other group of people. So you understand it's a mindset and it's about control. Mm-hmm. But the thing that I find, and people say, fat is the enemy. Being fat as a woman is, so first we have this very astute idea that food we shouldn't eat. Mm-hmm. Most white women don't think they should eat. Mm-hmm. They think they should eat very little and daintily because, I'll get fat. Mm-hmm. That's a mental thing we all have. Mm-hmm. And a successful woman especially because she can't look shitty in her nice tight suit. Mm-hmm. So there's an element of that. And what I find is it's a constant, the shame of eating. Mm-hmm. People are ashamed that they eat, which is why they hoard and stuff. Mm-hmm. Because when they're not starving.
Looking. Yeah.
And it's become this mental problem. And I guess there is no simple way to fix this, but when people start adding just fat to their diet, the rest of the diet gets better. Mm-hmm. However, if you eat a lot of fat with a lot of carbohydrate, you will gain weight, you will get heavy, you will become bigger. Yeah. But you won't get as big as if you just ate only carbohydrates all the time. Mm-hmm. Because when you're living only on carbohydrates, and protein, they'll say protein and carbohydrates, you basically have no protection. Mm-hmm. Fat gives you all the protection. Mm-hmm. It's the myelin sheath of your nerves. Mm-hmm. It's the brain, right? The brain is saturated fat and cholesterol. Exactly. So without your body getting that nutrient, it's going to make it. Your body makes cholesterol. You won't die. Mm-hmm. But it's hard. It's hard for your body to have to make enough cholesterol. Mm-hmm. That's why the more you eat it, the easier it is for your liver and for everything else. Does that make sense? Yeah. So when I want to talk more about cholesterol as it's the building block for all of our other hormones. So for women, when we're talking about your estrogen or estradiol, like you're probably used to hearing estrogen, your progesterone, all of this is coming from cholesterol. Cholesterol is our building block. Yes, cholesterol makes the molecule. Yeah, absolutely. Can't have a hormone without a cholesterol molecule. So, and the best way is to eat it because this is easier for us to eat it and then use this than to try to make its own. Mm-hmm. So, for like eggs, how has this been deemed as bad? You've seen this as you shouldn't have X because they demonized cholesterol and they demonized saturated fat. So once you demonize those two ingredients or those two molecules, anything containing them are bad. Mm-hmm. They've got people doing Diet Coke but off eggs and milk. Yeah. It's very true. It's sick. Yes. It's kind of, I have to say it makes me really angry. Yeah, I get so mad. And then I have to teach people over and they look at me like, that's not true. That's not what my doctor said. It's like, okay, continue drinking your diet pop and chips. I'm sorry to interfere. In the meantime, I'm going to go have a roast beef with whatever. Because I'm so into cooking, too. Yes. I love food preparation. And that's the other problem, you see. you need to prepare your food. You can't just, it's not instant.
Yeah.
Even though it might have all the right nutrients,
Mm-hmm.
you take that bar. That's why, who wants to eat a bar?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We want food.
We want real food.
We do. We're made for it.
Well, and this is why, too, when you
Tell
get
me
done...
life is not going to be boring without food.
Yeah, right. And when you get done eating the different... I know this personally for myself, because we are a family that definitely eats the protein bars. And I sit with this. I'm like, I don't want to eat this. I don't want it in my house. But then because of convenience or
Make your own.
Exactly, I do make my own too, and that's kind of the way I go. Dates, almond butter, coconut oil, seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, and you know, I'll go into this. I just made 3 weeks worth of like these little protein packed balls.
Right. That's a very different thing than a protein bar.
Yeah, and that's better. But the protein bars have all kinds of oils, soy lecithin, and a bunch of random sugars and fats, things that I don't even know how to buy.
I have to say there is no packaged food that's good.
There is, in that, if we just lift off of that principle, and this will make a lot of people mad, because if you are defending all of the food that you buy that is packaged, and it would maybe feel impossible to start to crowd out all of the processed food.
I know.
But if we just actually like made it that simple and said if you cooked all your food and none of it was packaged, you would probably be in a really good place.
Yeah,
or significantly better.
Right. I mean, honestly, and then the other thing too. This is so important. I think more than anything, and this kind of always contradicts everything I ever say, is how you feel about it. It really makes the difference. You know, I talk to smokers, people who smoke, and every time they I should quit smoking. And I said, look, if you're gonna smoke, love the fucking cigarette.
Yeah.
I love the cigarette. Oh my God, it tastes so good. I said, love the cigarette.
Because when
if you tell your body how bad this is and you're doing it anyways, you are causing so much more damage because you're going down that belief system. And the same with food. I do think people can live on junky food and if they feel really good about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing. And it's like, it's because they feel good.
Yes.
And then
you take out the guilt and the shame. Yes.
So I think for a lot of your clients, the first thing they need to really notice is stop shaming themselves and understand. And what I think is really important is for humans to understand our basic biological needs so we can forgive ourselves for our cravings. Because we crave fat. And you know why we crave sugar?
Why? Because we're tired.
We're craving minerals.
Oh, minerals.
Because minerals come in sweet things.
But what kind of minerals are we getting?
Molasses.
Yeah.
No, from sugar we don't get shit.
Right.
But the real sweet beets, carrots, your root vegetables, when they're roasted, are like candy, right? You have a roasted carrot with butter? It tastes like candy. Good. It's dessert.
Yeah.
Because it's full of minerals. It's the minerals that give it. So minerals come with sweet tasting. Sugar is full. Cane sugar is full of minerals. They take the mineral out.
Yeah.
And give you white sugar. And then they put some shit back in and tell you it's brown sugar.
Yeah.
But real sugar cane is full of minerals, full of iron.
Yeah.
So that's why we crave sugar, because we have mineral deficiencies. So the three things we've got going on is mineral deficiencies, vitamin A and vitamin D deficiency, and cholesterol deficiency. Those are the three main chemicals that are leading to almost all of our problems.
Talk to me about each one of those. If I were to think about how to help myself with a mineral deficiency, in which most people...
good Celtic sea salt. And so all you need is a sea salt that's not been refined.
And adding it to your water in the morning. This is one of the best things I found for myself.
It is. Sea salt is... You don't need any other mineral supplement if you have real sea salt, because it has all the fucking minerals on the planet. Every mineral on the planet is in your ocean.
Yes.
And if you just dehydrated, I know you're talking to people who aren't at the ocean, but the problem is that the salt refineries do the same thing. They leach all the minerals out and sell them as mineral supplements and give you denuded sodium chloride. That's what happened. So we have a mineral deficiency, which no one recognizes, which is why teeth are going soft.
Yeah, this is
it. So it's a very, it's so weird how such a little thing that everyone thought just seems so benign has fucked everybody up over generations.
Mm-hmm.
But,
yeah,
you know.
it's so true. It is so small. And even the relationship with salt, you know, I feel...
Oh, God, no, we're on a no-salt diet. You're going to fucking kill everybody. You know you cannot digest without salt in your stomach.
Which isn't that...
If you don't have salt in the tummy, you get no enzymes.
Yes, isn't this crazy? This is like no
That's
salt.
why all
no
animals
salt.
need salt. That's why all the trade routes happened in the original, is because people had to go looking for salt. You die without salt.
Yeah.
The madness of our country and our... So what it is, it's the medical association that's become it's the pharmaceutical industry doing it all.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is what they did is they put MSG in everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, if you put MSG in dog shit, it'll taste really good. You put MSG in anything, it tastes good. Makes everything taste good. That's why they use it.
So I thought that
Because if you look it up,
I thought it was to make things bigger.
No, it's a flavor enhancer.
It's just
it makes everything taste good.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it?
It's monosodium glutamate. So it's a sodium molecule and it's a glutamate. So it's actually a neurotransmitter. And so it can do so it's considered an excitotoxin like all the glutamates. Aspartame, glutamate, which is in monosodium glutamate. I'm trying to think. I can't think right now what else. But they are called neurotransmitters. So and that's why they can say natural, because they do naturally occur in our nerve system. And you know, so a neurotransmitter is what stimulates one nerve to stimulate the next nerve, right? Mm-hmm. So in the synapse between the two nerves, you've got this flux of neurotransmitters to tell the nerve, go ahead, go down the road,
do the path.
So what happens when we consume high amounts of
MSG
or aspartame, which are considered neurotransmitters. Mm-hmm. So you know about the blood-brain barrier?
Yes.
Okay, so they say, oh, well, there's the blood-brain barrier to protect the brain from all these chemicals. Well, in adults after puberty, children have no blood-brain barrier. Mm-hmm. When you're sick or not feeling well, your blood-brain barrier is pretty much gone. And the blood-brain barrier is a capillary wall thick. It's microscopic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very easily impaired and and it's not even intact until you're after puberty. So as a child, you have no blood-brain barrier. And who did they put the MSG in? Baby food.
In like formula?
Oh yeah, and in just Gerber's baby food.
Oh my God.
And they knew 30 years ago that MSG was bad for children, and so the FDA had a big talking to, and said, we can't do, it's getting bad. MSG is bad. We can't say it. Blah, blah. They allowed companies to use 44 different names other than MSG for MSG.
They had to change the names. It's like BPA.
Natural flavoring is the biggest one they use, natural flavoring. So if you see natural flavoring, it's MSG.
They changed. I didn't know this. What? So all the natural flavoring, because there's like...
Any natural flavoring. It says natural flavoring MSG.
Yes.
Because it's natural. Occurs in nature.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's it. Well, and that's interesting.
And you can taste it when you taste something that's natural. Like even this water now that you get naturally essenced. I think it has MSG or something. So it's something to beware, and I don't know how far it's gone, but maybe 10 years ago I heard about this new chemical they're adding to food now. They don't use artificially flavored. They actually are using, they don't even have to say it on there because it's not a food. But what it does, the food will have no taste, but it has a compound that tickles or stimulates certain taste buds.
So you think
you're getting sour or you think you're getting sweet.
Exactly.
Talk about fucking up people's taste buds.
Yes.
That's people don't have taste anymore.
Yes.
They're not going to be able to taste real food.
Well, and that's exactly it. What's interesting is I kind of like, in a way, I don't want to say I use my kids as test subjects, but I just observe what they do.
That's what a researcher does.
Yeah, like I'm like, okay, well, these are my children, and I get to see what I put in them, what I allow them to have.
And children show immediately results.
Exactly, they're so sensitive
and
to
they don't
everything.
Lie.
Yes. So yesterday they got a package of these wax. I want to call them wax. It was like the animal crackers that are now covered in.
Like a frosting?
Frosting, but the frosting's like a wax. And what I like to do is allow them a chance to experience food outside of what I make. Because I want to see their reaction. I want to see their feedback, if they liked the food, if it tasted good to them, and the response after they ate it. So I gave it as an experiment. And these experiments don't happen all the time, but they
Right,
got this
right.
for Valentine's Day. And they said you can pick one of the 4 packages, and there was like 4 or 5 cookies. Now, not only did they not have nutritional labels on there, now they give you a QR code to
Oh
scan.
yeah, you could look it up.
And so now
I
you
know.
can't just look it
No,
up there. You have to
I
get
know.
out your phone
I
and
noticed.
QR code this,
noticed that.
which I was blown away.
I know.
And then once I got to the QR code, this website was way too hard for me to navigate, to find the individual artist. It wasn't like it popped up then where I could read it. So I'm like, wow, I really wanted to know how much extra, there was some pink coloring. I wanted to know what kind of dyes was making it that way. And I couldn't see it just by scanning the code. So I was like, this is incredible. I let them eat it. They each had 2 of these little cookies, and now there's only 4 in this little individual pack.
Right.
And I asked them, did you like that compared to the cookies I make them? Banana, oats, some salt, and like a stevia dark chocolate chip.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, no, I like Mom's better. But they were like, it's good. And then they sat there, and they were trying to swallow. And they kept like trying to swallow, and they said, Mom, I really need some water. And I was like, isn't that interesting? Like they were eating like this wax packaged cookie that could have sat on the shelf for years.
Oh yeah.
And it would have tasted the same 10 years later. And that part alone just kind of confuses the hell out of me. Like, how can you buy something that you know could sit on your shelf for 10 plus years and not change? None of the components would change. And like, so I just would kind of wanted to watch. And then I used their feedback as like, that's probably the truth. They were thirsty after, so it's like immediately.
Right.
And then it suppressed their immune system where they're like, they wanted to go home and eat something. Like they wanted to go home and have chicken, broccoli, whatever. And so it was like, okay, cool. That kind of gives me like, I'm on the right path with my kids, right?
Well,
you know,
no
that
kidding.
they can still taste.
It's real food.
Yeah.
Well, they can because they have you as their mom. I mean, you know, and I think the thing about the human body, so all this is true. There's all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
However,
We're resilient.
we're more than resilient. We're regenerative and transformative. We transform things. We can transform things with our mind and our heart. And so there is something, I think it was Deepak Chopra who said, it's more important what comes out of your mouth than what goes in it. I thought, well, that's kind of true. And, you know, if you can only shit, bless it. And I think the secret for you want your clients to really start to understand is to trust their innate sense of what feels good. You see, my problem is people are wearing Fitbits. They trust their watch before they trust their own self to know if they walked enough today. Excuse me, that's very dangerous. Because you're putting your decisions into the hands of, okay, usually it's a financial advisor or a president or a priest, and now it's your fucking Fitbit. I had clients who hurt themselves competing with their husband on their steps that they would get that day.
Because their
She
body
fucked up
was
her knee
probably needed to be
because she was
done.
being stupid.
Yeah.
Because she's walking thinking of something else instead of walking mindfully.
Yeah.
There's no mindfulness when you're expecting some machine to tell you when to stop or when to go or how much. Go. Your machine's telling you to go and you're going. How can one become oneself if they're listening? I mean, I'm waiting for people to have a machine that tells them when to breathe. Oh, you need to breathe.
Yeah.
Because that's how far people are from trusting their own being. And I think that's what the food for me is, understanding we have technology that pulls us away from our nature and ourselves. And food is one way to come back to nature if you eat real food.
Especially if you're
It
harvesting
pulls you into it. So you become unconsciously closer to real, I'm going to say closer to God, but you know, I don't believe in
Oneness,
God,
whatever.
but life force.
Yeah.
You come close back to your joy. And for me, food should be a joy. It's the only reason we eat. It should be a joy. And a joy that, and you know, I know people who get joy out of eating like chocolate cake from, I don't know, Dunkin' Donuts or something. I personally, luckily, once you begin to eat real food, that doesn't taste good any longer.
Yes.
It takes a little while.
It does. And it takes some kind of like intention behind why you're going to step away from it.
Yes, and the other thing I know important is if you want people to stop eating sugar or chips or carbohydrates, you have to give them something better.
Yes. This is what I really appreciate about this talk, because you're talking about food as it tasting delicious. And there's
It's
so many
fucking important.
Yes, and so many people think that when you start to eat healthy, when you start to take away
it's
processed
bland
food,
and empty.
Yeah,
Because they don't have fat. Because in our country, healthy meant no fat.
Yeah.
Look it was in 36. They started this no-fat diet. It was after. So what happened when the Industrial Revolution, not the Industrial Revolution, the World War II. When World War II was going on, what did we put our money into? Bombs and making things. After that, we had all this stuff to make fertilizer. So all the fertilizers came from, was from leftover
all the
war
bombs.
material.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that's why fertilizers were plumped all over everything and destroyed our soil.
Yes.
Because our soil is now leached of most minerals. And then it was the edible oil industry. So there's an article, you have to read it. It's called The Oiling of America. And it was written by Mary Enig. And she talks about the financial, the political, the marketing, and the medical aspects of how the corn, cotton, and soybean farmers, the three farmers and the biggest ones in the country, the soy, corn, and cottonseed, wanted to sell their oil.
Because it's a byproduct of the waste.
Yes.
So they're trying to make something out of it.
Yes. And they needed to, they had so much soy and corn, they didn't know what to do with it, so they wanted to make oils for it. Nobody would eat it. It's gross. You can't make a cookie with vegetable oil. You have mushy cookies.
Yeah.
So what they did is they made a trans fat. You know what a trans fat is? It's a flipped molecule, right?
Yeah.
So that's what they did. They took these vegetable oils and they put a nickel oxide in it and it zapped it, and it takes a molecule that's like this to be like this. So now it looks like a saturated fat now. It looks like a straight molecule.
Okay.
However, it's still broken because it has a missing hydrogen.
Chain.
Right. So as soon as it's exposed to light, heat, or oxygen, break.
And then these are unstable cells.
Those are free radicals.
Free radicals, yes.
Or unpaired electrons.
Uh-huh.
I always say it's an unpaired electron. That's really the real term. And an unpaired electron is like glass. It'll cut. And what it's doing is all those free radicals are making lesions inside your arteries. Because the arteries are muscles, right? And so the inside of your arteries are getting cut. And all of a sudden it's getting thinner, and the body says, holy shit, we got to patch this up. Cholesterol. Puts cholesterol on these lesions so you don't bleed to death and have ruptures all over the place because your arteries are breaking down. So your body, in its brilliance, puts cholesterol there. So what do the scientists do? They go and they cut open. Oh, look at all this cholesterol. That's causing heart disease. It has
cholesterol.
Nothing to do with heart disease. Nothing to do with. Heart disease has never been a plugged artery. Heart disease is a muscle spasm in your heart because you have a deficiency of minerals. It's like a Charlie horse in your heart. It's nothing to do with plugged arteries. And in fact, what they found, the body has been plugging arteries to protect the heart. It's all backwards. So when you kind of go, holy shit. But Western science, unfortunately, is always looking for one culprit, and it finds the one culprit and attacks it, but it never sees the whole picture.
Because we're used to a society where you have a podiatrist to look at your heart or your foot, a cardiologist to look at your heart.
Well, you got a nose doctor.
Yeah, you have a ears, nose, and throat doctor.
And your lung doctor is not the same.
Right, and the thing is none of these people are communicating about the full system, which is, I feel, why people are attracted to, people like us who are like, we're not going super in. We're actually zooming all the way out, and we're looking at what's happening mentally, emotionally, physically, socially, because these all impact all the systems.
Yeah.
So it's like we need to back actually way more up and see what's happening.
Right.
This is so interesting about cholesterol coming in as the purpose to patch these lesions. So when we talk about...
It's a repair tissue. So cholesterol has, that we know of, over 800 functions. We don't know all of them,
everything,
obviously.
Yeah.
But cholesterol, first of all, it makes all your hormones. It is what takes care of all your damage in your body. So you know the good cholesterol, bad cholesterol bullshit?
Yeah, HDL and LDL.
Do you know what that means?
Yeah, and so if we have too much LDL, it's a problem.
But do you know what LDL means?
The lower
it's low density. Do you know what that means?
No.
So cholesterol in the liver is just it's a big molecule. It's a big round molecule. And it's quite empty. It's light. It's a light molecule. And so when there's damage, let's say you cut yourself, you got damage, your liver goes, oh, better send the ambulance. So empty cholesterol, low density, it's called bad cholesterol. It's an empty ambulance. It goes to the site of repair, takes the bad cells, the broken cells, the dead cells, takes them back to the liver to be regenerated. When it's going back to the liver, it's got a cell hooked onto it. It's an ambulance now with the body. That's called high density because it's more dense. So cholesterol, like I said, it's very light and empty. That's why it's called low density. It doesn't have a lot of weight.
Yeah.
But it's running around the body, picking up bad cells, hurt cells, cells that need repair. And when it's going back to the liver to deliver the dead cell, it's considered high density.
So high density is just low density after it's already picked up a damaged cell, converting to high density then. So this is... This makes it hilarious, actually.
It's hilarious. You want to laugh and you go, what the fuck?
So why are we even measuring?
They don't anymore. If you've noticed, it's all been dropped. But you see, the public doesn't know because the scientists and the doctors and the medical system never tells anybody about this shit. It's all done behind doors.
Yes, because it's like, well, low
So
density
what's happened now, they
high
know the best marker for heart disease or stroke is triglycerides, which again is sugar. Hello.
Yeah.
And the whole triglyceride chemistry, I don't know a lot about it, honestly. It's just another, like I said, you know, if you just eat real food and enjoy it, you don't have to worry about all that shit.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the cholesterol that's being blamed, the low density, what we found is people who have under high stress will have higher cholesterol. And a normal healthy cholesterol for an adult female is about 225, not under 200. And what happened with the statin drugs, that was another whole debacle. It was Pfizer. And Pfizer wanted to get, these chemical companies have mission statements, and their mission statement was to get everybody on cholesterol. Because they believe statin drugs would save people from heart attacks. They believe it because their science, the thing about science is you can make anything come true. And if you've got someone doinking around, so all the science that were against saturated fats, they used hydrogenated coconut oil. That's what to prove that saturated fats were bad. Like the testing, the experiments, they didn't use butter.
Yeah.
They didn't use real good saturated fat. No, they used hydrogenated, so it's already
been tampered with
coconut oil.
Yes.
Which makes it like wax. Hydrogenated coconut oil is the most saturated fat there is. That's why it's so hard when it's cold. If you hydrogenate it, it's like a rock. That's what they were using to test
the effects on it. And you're like, this isn't actually telling us.
And what they used for cholesterol, this was the Tufts University Egg McMuffin.
To check and see if cholesterol is good for you. They were like, let's prove this, and we're going to use an Egg McMuffin for this study. And then now that we have this information that Egg McMuffin isn't a good source,
we're going to say cholesterol's bad.
We're going to say cholesterol's bad. Okay, because we know that the eggs that they're using in an Egg McMuffin is...
Well, they've been overcooked. I mean, that's the thing about eggs. It's interesting. But you want your yolk raw.
Yeah.
Preferably. You don't want to hard cook it. And if you do, you want it soft cooked. Like in France. When you go to France, you get a hard-boiled egg.
Yeah.
It's a little mushy.
Yeah. Same in Korea. Yeah. That's so interesting.
And if you have that green around it, it's burnt and bad, and it's not good for you, really. I mean, you've oxidized the cholesterol.
I see.
So it's interesting that cholesterol is that precious, and it's funny, and it's hard to get cholesterol. It's the hardest food to get. Has no calories, has no calories, no nutritional value whatsoever.
So cholesterol, I'm getting this from eggs. This is what I think of.
So organ meat,
okay,
butter, cream, eggs. So anything with high fat. So organ meats are the best. Liver, kidneys, brain, all those things, heart.
Yeah.
Egg yolk, only the yolk, cream, butter. Butter is very high in cholesterol. That's just one of my favorite food. Butter has over 500 different kinds of fatty acids. It's one of the most complex foods, and it's love. It tells you eat butter, your body's being told the hunting's good.
So happy.
The garden is good. Everything's okay in the world.
Yes, you just take. That's what
it's so powerful. And when you're getting butter from a cow that's eating grass and is outside in the sunshine, you have high amounts of vitamin A.
which I was going to say, this liver talk and butter talk and organ meat talk has, and egg yolk has led me into the other piece, which you said, three things that we were lacking from the beginning was minerals, which we talked about adding Celtic salt to the food that you're creating, and also like literally just salting your meat really well. Like that's all the flavor you actually need, minus all the other things in your cupboard for cooking. Just add salt to it, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, but a good Celtic sea salt.
Yes, good Celtic
sea
salt.
Unrefined salt. Your salt should not be white.
Okay. This is good. So it needs to be a color. They have like the gray. They have the Baja, like the black.
I don't trust a lot of these. I think they just have coloring. It's so
think terrible. So? What about like the
it's
Himalayan?
Too cheap. I know. I don't know. I don't know. Some of it. What do you taste? You can taste it. This is what I love.
Celtic sea salt.
Yeah, but
and it's great.
Hard to get it out. Yeah.
Okay.
But taste it. It tastes different than any other salt.
Okay.
And it's really the best. I used to have a 50-pound bag.
Oh, yeah.
I just finished it now. I just have this.
Yeah.
But if you taste a little, you taste that and you go, holy shit, this is real.
The Celtic sea salt. All right. So this is what we like.
Yeah.
And
they're from France. And they're it's a small farm in Normandy in the middle of nowhere.
It reminds me of the ocean. And this is a white Australian sea
salt. It's a new one. I just bought it at Ross.
You bought it at Ross.
I'm trying it out.
It's not nearly as strong as this. But
it's not too bad though.
Yeah.
But when you taste that salt, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's very salt.
It's complex. It's complex. It has tastes.
Yeah, it has a lot of taste.
It doesn't just have that flat salt taste.
Yeah.
I mean, and it takes a while to refine ourselves a little bit, but the more you do it, and that's why with your, I'm just trying to think to make this, like, what's the simplest way? Well, go back to what you're saying about
Okay, yes. So we have minerals, so bringing in salts, and like literally in the morning I take a fourth. I don't know what you do. Do you ever do this in the morning? Because we're coming out of a fast, right, when we're sleeping. So the first thing I do in the morning is I take salt, a 4th teaspoon, and I add it into a big thing of water.
Oh, nice.
And that's my first thing that my body gets coming out of dehydration, fasting phase. And so that's kind of like just setting yourself, and that's all the minerals you need for a whole day if you just do that. Simple thing.
Yeah.
But like with meats and stuff, there's been times where I'm like, how do I season this? I don't know what to do with it. Just freaking salt it.
I just salt and pepper. I use ground pepper too, but that's all you need.
But it is so easy that way. It takes away all the confusion with all the powders and all the different stuff. So the first one for mineralization is this. Use a Celtic sea salt. The second one you were saying was we are all vitamin D and A deficient. This comes from our organ meats, of course. And our fats.
They come, vitamin A and D are only in saturated animal fat.
So what about vegans, vegetarians?
They don't get any A and D.
They take a supplement for this? I mean, I do know a lot of vegetarians.
They do an artificial D, the mushrooms. They're a radiated mushroom. It's a vitamin D2, and it doesn't do the same thing.
Yes.
And it is defective. So it's, I don't know the effects. I don't know what it does, but it's not a true vitamin D. So it's not going to bring your calcium into your bones, into your teeth.
Okay. Well, and this is the thing I know here on this island, I specifically know a lot of people who are, fruitarians, vegetarians, vegans. And I know that there is a lot of that. So it's always like interesting to like convey that these animal fats are really essential for us. It's a primal diet.
It's hard for people to believe that. But one thing I also know, so food is heat, right? Calories are fire. It's heat.
Yes.
Sunshine and this air, you require less food. We don't need to eat that much. We're absorbing, we've got the ocean, we're getting a lot of minerals just from swimming.
Yeah, and breathing.
I feel like I'm much more immersed in minerals. I used to crave salt when I lived in Michigan. I would eat salt. I mean, I would just I craved it. But when I came here, I kind of don't crave it. I mean, I use salt, I eat it, but I don't think, oh man, I just need something salty, which is how I was more. So the salt, having the minerals, and sunshine is food, because sun is stimulating and heating us up, and it's making vitamin D, right? Sun makes vitamin D in our own body. We make vitamin D from cholesterol.
Mm-hmm.
So the cholesterol molecule in your skin
Mm-hmm.
takes the vitamin D and it converts it into usable vitamin D. If you don't eat enough cholesterol and you don't have good cholesterol in your skin,
Mm-hmm.
you won't be able to make vitamin D. The other thing about cholesterol, it makes people waterproof. It makes the body waterproof. And what they're finding, this is what I just read about.
What does that mean to be waterproof?
It makes your cells have integrity. They don't lose all their form. You know how you're watching kids that are kind of doughy?
Yeah, all over the
They don't have
place.
enough cholesterol. Cholesterol creates kind of a solid tissue. It makes the cell have a little bit structure.
Firm. So if I'm thinking about aging, like vanity,
Right.
if you have enough cholesterol, this would help. Like, is it even elasticity in your skin?
Yeah.
Your skin?
Well, I can't say that, but I'm a sun worshiper and
Yeah, well, you're a sun
That's what I
worshiper,
can
so
see.
you're also like a health enthusiast. So I really want to hear.
But I don't look old. I don't look young. Where's
I don't look young.
cholesterol?
Yeah, but you act young and you seem young to me. Do you want to reveal your age? Because I feel like you're
I'm 64.
64. You still look young. So, Frances, tell me.
About cholesterol. Let me see it in here.
I know that you're going to have something to say about this, but this is like coming out. This information is coming out, as in, like, you know how everything just kind of takes time.
Right.
It's coming out that you shouldn't wear sunscreen.
Thank you. I didn't have to say it. I love not having to say anything.
We're talking about our vitamin D deficiencies.
Sunscreen is really dangerous again.
Yeah, and
but I mean, the thing about the sunscreen is it gives you this. First of all, it blocks the sun.
Mm-hmm.
We are solarized beings.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even know all of what the sun does for us.
Mm-hmm.
We have no one studied it. No one's ever said, well, what is the sun actually doing? We know now, we make vitamin D from it, but we don't have any clue of the other aspects, except we all know when we get in the sun and it's on our bones, we feel better.
Happy. Well, and that's the
It's
thing.
love.
Yeah, and like when that it really is love. Like, this is what's interesting. Like, you're mixing like food, nutrients, science with
And
like
love.
real things. Like joy, peace, love, like gratitude. Like, these things are actually all very important when you're looking at the whole person. But it's so true. We're from Michigan. I didn't know you were from Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
I'm from Michigan too. But those winter months when you don't see the sun and it's
Right.
cold and nobody gets outside for 6 months of the year from November till May,
Right.
that you're depressed. A lot of people struggle with seasonal depression, and we need sun. Even if it's a gray day,
So
still
what you
can
need
get,
then
yeah.
is the fat.
So fat's going to help.
Fat and cholesterol is kind of a substitute for the sun. So this is a fascinating thing for me. When I studied vitamin A and vitamin D, vitamin A and vitamin D have receptor sites on the nucleus of our membrane. I mean, of every cell. The nuclear membrane of every cell has a receptor site for A and D. So that means
We need to have it.
well, what that means is vitamin A and D can go into the nucleus. And what they do in the nucleus is they turn on your genes.
So it activates
Your genetics.
Yeah. So
That's why a vitamin A deficiency causes genetic defects in children. It is a real vitamin A deficiency. It causes genetic defects, causes holes in the heart. This is a big thing. There's holes. Babies are being born with holes in their heart.
That's
It's
coming from the mother.
A.
Mother didn't have enough vitamin A then.
Yeah.
A and D.
It's
And or father, both.
It's what's happening is the mothers. It's mostly the mother because the baby's living in the mother's environment. The father is giving a sperm, and the sperm matters, and also for the biome. The bacteria and all the living stuff matters because when the husband enters the woman, that his bacteria mix with hers, and that's the mixture of bacteria that the baby goes through in the birth canal. Very important.
Yeah,
Very important.
Right, because
That's why you want
to
healthy
before.
mom and dad because they're copulating, they're connecting, and they're creating the biome for the baby to go through. Because when the baby goes through the vaginal canal, it gets a healthy dose
when it comes out
to inoculate
mouth.
their intestinal system.
Yes, through their
When
mouth.
you're a
through their nose.
C-section, the hard thing is what you get first is a rubber glove.
Yep, exactly.
And there's no good bacteria on that. So that's why you want to latch them onto your breast and start feeding, because your breast will have bacteria and the milk will have it. but many people aren't breastfeeding anymore, so the C-section baby with no breastfeeding will have a very poor start to having a good digestive system because you need that microflora, and that comes from the vaginal canal, and that's what you want.
Exactly.
But what I was saying about the vitamin A and D, so because what you see, it's the sunshine touching our genes. Because vitamin A is made we can't make vitamin A. Vitamin A is made when a ruminant animal, a cow, a sheep, a goat, eat grass that's growing outside in the sun, and because they have 4 stomachs, and they regurgitate and reprocess, they can eat grass. We can't eat grass.
Right.
We will die if we eat grass forever. I mean, that's all. And we could have a little bit, but we can't live on grass. It would kill us. We can't handle the cellulose.
Whoa.
That's why the cellulose is what causes the gut problem. That's why a lot of raw vegetables are bad. Too much raw kale is really bad. So what the vitamin A, what the cows do is they take the chlorophyll and the beta carotene, and because they have 4 stomachs and they create this, the cream comes out, their cream has vitamin A in it. It's essentially the sun. Because the chlorophyll, right, comes from photosynthesis.
Yeah.
A plant makes the green from the sunshine.
Yeah, right.
The cow takes the green and turns it into cream. When you eat the cream, you get the vitamin A. Vitamin A. So what I think is a miracle is it's basically through this chain of processes, the sun is getting into our genetics, into our DNA.
Yes.
Isn't that kind of fucking cool?
It's really cool. It's really cool.
How it stimulates us. It's amazing.
Yes.
And vitamin D is also the same. Vitamin D is made from the fat of animals. And so it's funny because vitamin A is made from ruminant animals with 4 stomachs. Vitamin D is made by monogastric animals with 1 stomach, like a pig. So pigs are prized all over the world. South America, all of Asia love pig because a pig who's outside in the sunshine has vitamin D in their fat. Just like we do, humans. We have vitamin D if we're in the sun. We have vitamin D in our fat. We eat their fat, and that vitamin D is the sunshine, right? It comes from the sun.
Yeah.
We eat it, it goes into our DNA. It goes right into our nucleus.
Oh my gosh, you're saying to eat the bacon. Eat the
Bacon
bacon.
Bacon is the new food.
Eat the bacon.
Pork is interesting because cultures hate pork, right? The Jews won't eat pork. The Muslims won't eat pork.
Yes.
So there's a lot of speculation, and one thing they found, because China lives on pork. They've been eating pork for thousands of years.
Yeah.
The character for family is a pig in the house.
Oh my gosh.
Because when they have the pig in their house, they know they've got everything they need.
Oh my gosh.
It's so funny. But anyway, so that's how important pig is to the Asians. But what the Asians know and what they do and what every culture who ate pig did is they marinate it. They marinate the pig. That's why bacon is cured. It's cured. So curing or marinating pig takes away its negative properties. Not because pig fat has no problem, but pig meat. The protein in pig meat has it has a lot of uric acid, but what it causes cells to coagulate and clump. That's what they found. When they found that, they said, oh, maybe that's why it's been so demonized in certain cultures. But if it's marinated, it breaks down that property, and it is no longer a problem. And traditionally, all peoples who ate pork marinated their pork. They did something to it.
So they already knew to do that, which reminds me of like the Hawaiian tradition. We're here in Hawaii, and they totally like have this whole process of getting their pig marinating its wrapped.
Yes. So what's fascinating to me is every culture had very elaborate ways of processing good food, right? Salting. Before there was refrigeration, everybody salted everything to preserve. And that was actually a better way of preserving. Things lasted longer. So unfortunately, we've lost all this knowledge.
Tradition. Yeah.
We've lost so much knowledge.
Wow.
But the French still have it. That's why I'm a Francophile. I'm totally Francophile. I love Julie Child.
Oh my gosh.
And she always says, you can't have too much butter or cognac, so.
Oh my gosh. So eat the butter. We definitely, the bacon, you're looking for uncured bacon. And
cured bacon.
Oh, cured bacon. And so that's vitamin A and vitamin K. So we're looking at organ meats, butter, cream. And the last one you said in your 3 was vitamin deficiency, vitamin A and K, and cholesterol. And the last one is cholesterol.
And the nice thing is cholesterol comes with things that are pretty much high in A and D
and K,
or D.
Right.
And K. K2 is special. So Western price, vitamin K2 is an activator. That's an interesting thing to know too. Vitamin A and D and K are not just vitamins, they're activators. They activate things. They make things in the body happen. They stimulate and turn cells on. They're like running around making things. Yes, they flip switches to make the body like anti-inflammatories. It is so many processes. So it's more complex than just what we think of a vitamin. I don't know. We don't really have a very good definition of what a vitamin is, anyways, in our mind. So know that the vitamin A and D and K2 are things that tell the cells. Vitamin A tells the cells in the embryo what to become. It'll tell the cell, you're going to become a heart, go to the heart. You're going to become a penis, go to the penis, whatever. It tells the cells where to go. It gives them their directions. And so you can imagine if you have a deficiency of that, which is amazing to me at how little you need to make it right, because the body is kind of a miracle, obviously.
It knows how to heal.
It knows how to heal.
Yeah.
And a little bit, the body, it's like it turns on the right things. And then things can proceed better, even with a little bit, even if you don't eat liver all the time, you know what I mean? It's like, I kind of think, and I don't know that this is true, but what I think is if your body needs something and you can introduce it to it, the body will go, okay, I got it, now I can do it. It can do it itself. And that is another reason why I believe it's so important to remember to trust your body and to acknowledge what it's doing. Instead of thinking some book or some scientist or some doctor knows me better than yourself. And trust your taste. And learn to indulge and love food and not be so ashamed of it. I think that's what's happened. I think people are ashamed to eat in a way. I never said that before, but I think that's what I see in a culture of the shame of eating, as if it's a despicable thing. And the irony is, people demonized fat, but this woman, Mary Edig, wrote a book. It's the first book I read on it. It's called Eat Fat, Lose Fat. Because the more fat you eat, the less your body has to produce fat. And your body, I went through menopause. I had the best menopause. It was completely unnoticed. I had a few hot flashes for a year or so. I'm not dry. I have no dryness. My sex life is better than ever. And Daniel was even saying, he goes, God, so much for menopause being a problem. And I said, God, no shit. But it's because I ate a really high fat diet all through before menopause and through menopause. And I had been vegetarian I was macrobiotic vegetarian for a really long time. And then I read this book in 99 and it changed my life. I sat and cried and went, oh my God. Because I had a practice and I was trying to heal people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can touch people, you can massage them every day, but if they keep eating shit, they ain't going to get better.
So in your practice, you were doing massage therapy? Shiatsu. And so then you're like, okay, wait, I've been doing this wrong. Like, there's obviously more to this than
Well, they didn't say I did it wrong. I never do it wrong. What are you talking about?
No, it's all part of the guild building block.
I was learning.
I'm learning.
The process.
There's a purpose for it. You grew it knowledge.
It wasn't wrong because, in fact, the macrobiotic had its merit because it taught me about lactofermented.
That's true.
And what I found later, real macrobiotic ate fish. It was the people who came here and sold it to the Americans and basically said, because macrobiotic was the principle of eat what's around you. We don't fucking have rice in Toledo, Ohio, or Michigan.
Yes, you don't eat it.
So. Well, but that's but see, unfortunately, when they came to the States, they told people, yes, you have to eat rice and da-da-da, but there's no rice there. There's no, so it was a very interesting conundrum because, ironically, if you're going to be macrobiotic, you'd have to eat, wheat. Yeah. Because that's what we grew, or corn.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
But because it was designed in Japan, so the real macrobiotics ate fish. And they would eat fish eyes, highest source of vitamin A, fish eye. That's why, and it's funny, I was watching a movie about Chinese women and they were fighting over the fish eyes, and only like the matriarch gets the fish eye.
I know.
Because the amount of vitamin A is unbelievable, right?
When when you said fish eyes, I wanted to know, like, how often do you eat them? Because I'm honestly new to the world of eating organ meat. I grew up with it. My grandpa and grandma, they fought over
They all did the liver.
They fought over the liver. We used to eat cow tongue. My grandpa, like, because he was like the head of the household, he automatically got all the chicken feet he wanted.
Yes.
And he ate the bones. He ate every part of the chicken. I was
Full
like, why are you eating
gelatin?
Yes, and he would sit
that's
and
the other
chew on
ingredient,
those.
gelatin.
Gelatin. So I'm like, now I'm coming like knowing. Get that fly.
It was a mosquito.
Mosquito?
I didn't hit you hard enough.
Yeah.
I didn't kill it. It got away.
You just gave me a good snap.
I'm like, oh, there's a mosquito.
So now, like as a kid, I wasn't interested. I grew up in the low fat diet craze. So like my mom had nothing with fat on it. So even in my grandma's soup, which she would make her natural bone broth, right? I would scoop off the fat.
Yeah.
I would. Any of the white stuff, I'd take it cold from the refrigerator, take the fat off. And then just drink the soup water, you know.
Right. And that's okay. Honestly, people do that because it's not so nice, but they would use the chicken fat to cook things.
Because then you cook with it, yeah. And now here I am, taking bones, some marrow bones, and making as thick as a gelatin as I can, and that's like my breakfast, lunch, or dinner multiple times throughout the day. And then now adding in organ meat. So when we were in Korea, they would deliver a fish to you with its whole face on it. You know, you eat the eyes, every part of the fish. And so when you were talking about fish eyes, I'm like, do we have to?
No.
There's other options. Yeah, right.
There's so many other. Liver. So liver is also the other really, really, really high in vitamin A. Mm-hmm. Liver is very high in vitamin beef or chicken.
All the vitamins. And so how do you make your liver? What's your best liver tips?
So what I do with liver is I salt and pepper it. I dry it first. I make it really dry because if it's wet, it steams and it gets gray and looks disgusting. And so you dry it with a paper towel, salt and pepper it, strong on both sides. Hot pan. I use cast iron always. Hot pan and sear it for like 2 minutes.
Do you put something on top of it to like sear it? No,
because you'll squeeze all the blood out.
Okay.
So you just sear it.
2 minutes on each side.
2 minutes on one side, flip it, and maybe just a minute on the other side.
Whoa.
I like it pink, not bloody.
But
you don't want it too cooked because it's tough.
Yeah.
So you want it to be slightly pink, but not bloody, because that's gross for people. You can eat it bloody because you can eat it raw.
Yeah.
My grandmother craved raw liver when she was pregnant. She's like, I used to crave it. That's eat it.
And I've heard of that.
Because when you're pregnant, you have to have
iron.
Tons of vitamin A. No, it's the vitamin A.
Oh, it's not even for the iron.
The iron too, but it's the vitamin A you're craving.
Wow.
Because your baby needs it.
Wow.
To tell the cells what to do.
Yes, it's the activator. Oh my gosh, so she would eat it raw.
A lot of people do. I have Jewish clients who always, when you told me I could eat liver, then I like eating raw liver. She was so scared she thought she had a cholesterol problem. I'm like, don't eat your liver.
So just 3 minute deal. This is amazing.
Oh yeah, it's the easiest thing.
So I'm going to tell you, you're going to be sad to hear this. But I have been botching my liver because I just started. I'm like I'm 6 months in. So I've been grinding it up in the blender and then adding ground beef to it. And then I put it in anything.
That's great.
I just do like stuffed peppers, and then liver and beef.
So many people can. If I make liver for Daniel, he won't eat it.
Yeah,
he kind of can't. But it's like the cat texture. I'm like, oh my God, these Americans all lost their taste. However, because I spent a lot of time in France and everybody's like eating pate. My God, it's the best food in the world. However, so pate is another really good way to make it, and people often like pate or brunschwager.
And this is raw. Pate is raw.
No, it's cooked.
It is, but how do you make it into the pate form?
Oh, you blend it.
You blend
it
in
the blender.
Okay.
So you cook slowly.
Yeah.
With a lot of white wine. And I put onions in it and salt and pepper. Saute it for a long time till it's nice and soft. And then I just put it in a blender and I add a little bit more wine or cognac or champagne. And that's kind of it.
And you put it on something like...
And I sauteed in a lot of butter.
Yeah.
I put it on toast.
Okay. That sounds good.
I
I'm
think
gonna
if I
try
have
it.
a liver pate recipe in here. She's got.
Oh my gosh!
So she's
this
got
is the book. Which
so
she's been
this
referring to.
is the book.
Nourishing Traditions.
And so what's nice is the first 70 pages teaches you about nutrition and food and the reality of what a carbohydrate is, what an enzyme is, what a mineral is, and how it all works. And then the rest of the book is, first of all, mastering the basics, which is all about lactofermentation, how to lactoferment everything and anything yourself. So you're not spending all this money on probiotics and prebiotics now and all this bullshit.
Yes.
You just lactoferment your food on your countertop, and you've got all the things you need for probiotics.
How do you do that in a colder environment? I know this is really easy in Hawaii. I literally just take salt
It's
and
so easy
water
here.
and I mix it and I throw in like cabbage or carrots or anything. I just let it sit for a week. Is it work the same in cooler environments?
Well, yeah, because most people have their houses set around 68, 70.
Okay.
Which is kind of the mean temperature.
Okay.
So the thing about lactofermenting or any kind of growth of bacteria that grow around body temperature, so between 70 and 100, are really good for us. And they'll taste good. Like yogurt is done at 100 degrees. And it's a particular temperature for a particular type of bacteria to grow in. So things that are growing outside of a refrigerator, that it's warm enough. So like if it's 68 degrees in your house or even 65, it's probably warm enough to incubate. But often you'll put blankets around it. People wrap blankets around it or keep it by the stove.
Okay.
That's why people had hearths. They would do their lactofermentations, they'd be close to the oven so it would keep warmer. 100 degrees is ideal, but nobody's got a 100-degree house.
Yeah.
So some people, that's why those yogurt makers keep it at 100
Yeah,
degrees.
100 degrees, yeah.
But anything growing in a cold climate, like 50 and lower, in the refrigerator, will be bad for us. Those are toxic. So things that are fermenting in a fridge are lethal or very sick. They'll make us sick.
Right.
But if they're fermenting at our temperature, those are the particular bacteria that
are
will grow that are beneficial.
Wow.
And I think that's important. People don't know that about fermentation.
Right.
Because they're like, well, it went bad and I'm like, yeah, but did it go bad in the fridge or did it go bad on your countertop?
Right.
Because they would always just put milk out and it would clabber.
Yeah.
We call it clabbered milk. It would just separate and curdle.
This has happened to me when I tried to make my own.
It's healthy and yummy. And it's fine.
Still go for it.
And what I like about this book is she explains all about how to make stock, fermented vegetables and fruits, and how to...
fruits, that's fun.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she does...
Everything.
She does like refried beans. You can ferment your refried beans.
Oh my gosh, interesting. Never thought to try that.
So the things I found that were hugely important to shift diet was to start lacto-fermenting things. Lacto-fermented were found in every culture that Western Price visited around the planet. They all had some type of lacto-fermentation. Either kimchi or daikon or chutneys. Originally, chutneys in India are all lacto-fermented. So if you make a chutney, they have wonderful spices and things. If people don't ferment them, you can. You can just let them sit and lacto-ferment. And it's a little more complex. You have to add salt and things. But it's very simple. But the fermentation gives you all those enzymes as well as bacteria. So
and we're getting the healthy healthy bacteria in our gut to be able to combat the bad bacteria when we're exposed to it.
And enzymes. They make enzymes.
And that helps you break down your food.
Lacto-fermentation was the first thing I kind of brought into my life. And then stock, bone broth with gelatin in it. That's a very, 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 very important thing to make.
Yeah.
It's huge. And then the third one was start eating fats. And if you do those three things, those are the three main things that were lost in traditional foods, was fermentation and stock. Because every culture, and if you go to Europe and if you go to China still, in China every meal you start with a soup, a broth, a bone broth.
Yes.
Because it prepares your stomach. It gets the stomach ready. The gelatin is very powerful because gelatin is hydrophilic. So when you drink it in your stomach, it lets your stomach pull all the enzymes and juices to get digestion going. It creates digestion.
Interesting. I always kind of thought of like gelatin, collagen, these kinds of things from bone broths as as the repairing of the gastrointestinal tract.
Yes,
you know?
it does. Gelatin repairs the lining
The
of the small
lining.
intestine in the stomach.
Yeah, so I kind of always thought of it in a repair place, but I didn't ever think about it as it being part of the preparation for the food coming in.
So this is why gelatin or collagen, all that is so powerful,
Mm-hmm.
is that they are broken down proteins.
Mm-hmm.
So they're amino acids.
They're already ready to be.
A protein is very hard to break down.
Mm-hmm.
It's broken down in the small intestine by proteinase. And it's in the last digestion. It's the end.
The
because
last process,
it's
yeah.
the last process. It's in the small intestine. And if you are impaired or old or sick or tired, you don't do it very well. It's very hard to break it down.
Mm.
But when you drink a gelatin, so that's why it can raise people from the dead. You know, they had that saying.
Yes.
And so what happens when people can't break down protein because they're too sick, their body goes into their muscles and they lose muscle mass, right?
Yes.
They start getting really skinny and their muscles start wasting away.
Yeah.
If you do bone broth, you don't have to do any digesting. You get automatic
protein.
instant protein.
Yeah.
And so the old people that are starting to lose their muscle mass, you want them on gelatin.
Bone broths, yes. Well, you know what? This last time, my kids and family, they started getting this sickness. And I just every day for breakfast and lunch been eating my bone broth with some vegetables tossed in it. It's all I want to eat right now. And I feel amazing. I mean, I know that my body is working through something right now,
Just
but
add
I
butter.
feel good.
Add butter or cream.
More butter and cream?
Unless you have it
to the
already in
bone
there.
broth? No, I didn't add that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you drink soup, I always put butter in my soup.
Throw butter in it. I didn't know
Or
this.
cream.
Well, because there is like a thick, like the thick bone. I should say it's the fat, right? It's all the white.
Yeah, it depends
on
on what
the
you're
top
making.
of
Yeah,
it.
that's fat.
Yeah.
If you have enough fat in it, then you don't have
Then
to
you
put
don't
butter.
need to. But other soups, like when you don't see it. It's interesting. I was speaking with a client, and she said she would buy the organic brand bone stock from Aldi. You know this kind of stuff because you're from Michigan. So she goes, "Well, I'm buying the organic bone stock," and I was like, "You got to make it yourself." And she looked on the back, and there's no. If you pour that soup into a bowl, you don't see no fat.
No,
you
there's
don't see
no
no fat in it. And so it literally just looks like brown water. Well, she turned over the back of the label and found out that there's caramel flavoring in it to make it brown. So it seems like you're drinking soup, but you're not. And this comes back to the MSG thing you're talking about. It's like the natural flavor that was added to give it some kind of taste because it likely wasn't made from bones
Yeah.
or
Well-
it was too diluted.
Oh yeah,
To give it any kind of
And I'm
flavor.
sure they didn't cook it for 72 hours or anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whatever.
It's not like you're getting
Yeah.
this thing for $1 for
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's probably flavored water.
yes.
Maybe a little.
And
maybe
salt.
a sawbone once. I don't know. Maybe.
But it's true because if you're the normal person, like I kind of have to like zoom myself out into being like, before I was really studying into the nutrients of food, not the calories of food, not really the macros of food, whatever, not the trendy things of people in the gym who are trying to look better or look more fit, but into the nutrients of food. I didn't even realize that all these pieces we were missing out on. And I've been in this industry for 15 years, and only the last 3 have I really started to look at food.
Well, look how sick our children are.
Exactly, as nutrients. And
It's the diet, and
Yeah.
it is other things. It is other things. People say lack of exercise. Yes, it is lack
Yes,
of
it's
exercise.
true.
But if you don't have a good diet, you don't want to exercise.
Exactly.
If you don't have, and if you have so much carbohydrate in you, you are fuzzy and lethargic.
Yes.
And you just want to be a big fat couch potato. And unfortunately, that's what people are becoming because that's what their diet is dictating to them. That's what happens when you eat that. And so it's fascinating because, and of course what's difficult to convince people is because not every case is true. I know people who eat junk and they look pretty good or they act well, but the thing is it's never going to be everybody all at once that has this problem. But if you look at the trend of our health and the sickness, the autism rates, and I don't believe that autism is caused by vaccines. I think vaccines trip a switch. Autism is caused by a myriad of things, but mostly what they found, autism is a bad biome in the gut. they've got bad bacteria growing and it's causing mental problems.
Makes sense because the brain access and it's all connected. It's like depression, it's anxiety, like
your gut is everything. Your gut is telling you what the world is out there. So what you put in your mouth is telling your body what's going on in the planet. And what I do like to talk about the small intestine, but I won't talk about it now. We'll do another talk.
Oh, poop. Yes, we got to get into the poop talk.
Well, that's the large intestine, but the small intestine is,
there's our
nutritional.
Oh,
thanks,
a nutritional treat.
The lilocois are from here, and the bananas are from our
Yeah, but the bananas and the lilocois from the garden.
My mouth is watering right now.
And the yogurt's raw milk, fermented from the Howard Christmas.
Oh, okay, nice. So I was going to ask
I don't have a cow yet.
Oh my gosh, you got the horses that you get to take care of. This is so interesting, and the process of I just appreciate everything we talked about food because my mouth instantly when he set this down was watering, and it's you can smell the liloquoi, right? And when you get really happy with food and you do the things you're talking about, eat the food, love the food, appreciate it. The eyes, and this is why I will not let my kids ever have a screen by them when there's food in the room.
Yeah.
Is because your eyes are part of the digestion. It's my mind is preparing to eat right now. And if you have a healthy stomach, it's stomach acid, your mouth will start to salivate when food is near you and around you. And also to the point of what Frances said, you have to cook your food, you have to make time to prepare it. There is the smelling of your food as you're chopping and preparing. That is actually also part of digesting the food. When you are chopping your food and you're looking at it, that whole time your brain is saying food is coming.
And smelling.
And smelling, yes. And so all of this, our mouth right now is so giving us amylase. It's the saliva. We're starting to we're getting ready to break this food down.
Yeah, we're breaking down.
I love that Daniel just came and dropped us a snack in the middle of this.
He heard us talking. I think
it's so sweet.
But I was going to say something about in Chinese medicine, the stomach meridian it's the largest meridian in the body. Well, maybe ladder, but anyway, the stomach. So it begins. Here's the first point. So they say we see the food. The second point's here. We smell the food. Third point's here. We put the food in our mouth. We chew the food. And then there's this point that goes up here, and then it's then we think about the food. It's a point that's right there. It's a very powerful point. And when people are chewing, they call it ruminating, right? You're thinking. That overthinking, it's that chewing. You're chewing, and it's a stomach deficiency. So there's this point here that you can work on people to help them stop ruminating. But anyway,
I was ruminating when I was eating this, so I'm happy that you're talking. I'm like, what?
But it's just interesting that the ancients knew this.
Yeah.
So the first point is we see the food, we smell the food, we put the food in our mouth, we chew the food. There's a point here, and we think about it. And then the meridian goes down here, we swallow it. And then it goes through our nipples, and then it goes down. But it's just interesting how the meridian, they understand the importance of these aspects of food and preparing your stomach. Because what people forget is the stomach and the small intestine is the border between the outside world and your inside world, your bloodstream. That's where it is. That's why loving what you eat and enjoying and appreciating what you eat makes it good for you. And honestly, if you can love and enjoy a Twinkie, do it. Love it and enjoy it, because that's the only way you can get anything from it. But I personally,
I really like
bon appetit.
This is amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Daniel.
I know. Thanks, babe.
I appreciate this because I think when having visuals, this tube, this is the tube from we eat. It goes down the tube and out the tube, and that's what it's supposed to do. And along the way,
it's magic.
Yeah,
because what comes out is not food.
Yeah,
it's bacteria only. It's only bacteria. 99.9% of your poo is bacteria. It's not food. The food has been totally transformed.
What do we need to know about our poop as we're eating our really yummy snack?
It should be
only
as
you and I can probably do this.
It should be as easy and fast as peeing.
Oh, that's a good way to put this.
Easy and fast as peeing. It should not be stressful. It should not take time, and that should not be like, oh my God, you haven't pooped in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, when you start to get your good gut flora going and you're eating foods that are not sticking,
Mm-hmm.
I wake up in the morning because I have to go to the toilet.
Is that a problem?
No, that's a good thing. That's
It's
why
a great
I get
thing.
up in the morning.
It's actually your alarm clock.
Yeah. It wakes me up around 6.
Uh-huh.
6 o'clock or so. And I have an outhouse, so I have to walk out. I have to get out and go out.
Well, that's amazing because you get morning sunlight. That helps your circadian rhythm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right up
I
and
mean,
go.
my whole life is healthy, okay? There's
I
not
know,
much
you-
going on that's bad.
I know your whole life is healthy, but you know,
I'm kidding, but
most of the time.
I
But
try.
yeah, so the straining, this is not enough fiber.
No,
And
no.
not enough fiber?
So the fiber is a menace. Fiber is bad. Fiber in your poop only makes your poop big. Fiber is wrong. They got that wrong too. And there's an excellent book called The Fiber Menace. It's the funniest book I ever read. I got to see the guy speak. His name is Konstantin Manistrowski. And he is from Ukraine. And he wrote a book because he was seeing how they were pushing fiber. It's a big, big mistake. We get fiber in all of our fruits and vegetables. We get fiber in any grain.
Yeah.
We do not need extra fiber. And what they were doing is putting bran in people's muffins, these bran muffins. And what all that does, your body can't digest it, it can't break it down, can't do anything.
You have to have a ton of water.
All it
to get
does is it bulks your poop.
Yeah.
Your poop should be the size of a nickel at the most.
It should be the size of a nickel?
Ideally, you want nice small poop. You don't want big poop.
You don't
Big
want
poop,
a big
no.
poop?
Nope, don't want big hard poop.
So what does this mean if you have big poop?
Too much fiber.
It's too much fiber. So do you think
A lot
that
of grain, a lot of bread, a lot of pretzels, a lot of pasta, all that fiber. Your body really isn't designed to break down and eat that much fiber. We're not supposed to eat that much grain. Grain was artificial.
So the size of a dime, and then it shouldn't follow or a nickel.
He said
Right.
dime, but I'm like, who the hell can poop a dime?
That's
really
tiny.
That's small.
I've had dime poops. I'd say I'm 50-50, but I felt concerned that I wasn't fully eliminating when it was
You
the
are.
dime side. Okay, I am still. So that's good to know.
If you're eating better, you're probably your poop. They should be softer.
Yeah. They're just.
And they should sink.
Yeah, that's my problem.
So it's still too much fiber.
So if they're floating, it's too much fiber. Huh? That's so interesting. But the thing is I really
It's like putting
eat.
straw in your.
I only eat fruits and vegetables and a protein. I don't really
What
eat
protein?
grain.
But are you eating fat?
Yeah, fat. But maybe I'm still not eating enough fat. I think that's always come. I
I think you still are. I think you're still shy of fat. See, that's the thing.
I am shy
So
of
a
fat.
good-
It's messed up.
I know everybody is. I tell them do butter, and they spread this thin layer of butter. I'm like, what? That's not butter. Look, big clumps. I eat it like cheese. Eat the fucking butter. Sorry. am I allowed to
No,
cuss?
I'm. Yeah, of course you're allowed to.
sorry.
You're allowed to cuss. No,
Well,
I
but
am.
But it's so hardwired for us to resist fat. And traditional diets had an 80% fat diet. 80% fat.
This makes sense. The diet in Alaska, it's mostly fat.
And of course it's cold there, so you need more fat. Fat makes you warmer, right?
Yeah.
But even in Fiji, they ate crab with coconut. That's high fat. And
Yeah,
cholesterol.
you're dipping it. Oh my gosh.
That was their sacred food. So more fat.
But I thought that the reason why I was having floaty stools was because I wasn't digesting the fat. Because my whole life has been a low fat diet.
You might have a bit of a trouble absorbing it at first.
That's what I thought.
There's something, is it glutathione that people need to help you become a fat burner. See what happened. So this is a fascinating thing. People who want to lose weight, right?
Yeah.
They think if I eat less calories, I'll lose weight. No.
Yeah.
They'll lose water. You will lose water at first, but if you want to lose fat, you want to lose actual fat, you actually have to get off any carbohydrate, because if you have 1 molecule of insulin in your bloodstream, your body will not go to your fat reserves and burn fat. It will not.
It's going to go first to the easy glucose. It's the easiest thing for it to break down.
Yes. And so what happens, you start starving yourself and you're not eating, so you eat a cookie. Well, we'll just live on the cookie. If you have 1 insulin in the blood, your body won't go to the fat because it's being told. So insulin in your bloodstream tells your brain the hunting is not good. Store hoard, shop, gather, and get more because the hunting's bad and we got an emergency on our hands. And it will not go into your reserves. It will not burn your reserves. So that's why people they might lose water and that will look like they lost weight, but they can't
I lost
lose
5 or 6, but I can't.
You can actually lose fat.
Yeah.
But you have to eat fat.
It all comes back to eating
Because
fat.
you become a fat burner, and if you eat fat for calories, your body goes, oh, I like this, I know how to do this. And you don't have food, it'll start burning up your fat for you. It'll eat your fat. You'll lose the excess that you've been carrying around because your body's like, oh, I can burn fat. But you have to teach your body again to become a fat burner. I personally never had that problem, luckily. But I do know people who do, and I know that there's ways to go about it. I think eventually, if you just keep eating a good fat diet without a lot of insulin or sugar or carbohydrates, you will eventually become a fat burner because your body will have to.
Could you tell me what you eat in a day? We're eating this yogurt. It's a fermented, a raw milk.
So it's raw milk from grass-fed cows, fermented, and then lily koi from our garden, and bananas from our garden, and blueberries from the store.
Yeah, we live in Hawaii, so
blueberries.
No, we can't get them if we don't.
They're frozen. But other than that,
but what's the rest of your meals look like? Are you mainly like kind of like ketosis, or you're just high fat food?
I don't really.
You don't follow anything. You're listening to your body.
So what I eat a lot of is good cheese.
You do eat a lot of cheese.
I eat European cheeses a lot.
You get this from the store. A European cheese.
I get the English cheddar.
I have seen this.
It's usually mature. It's really expensive. I found a good one at Costco. It has the English coastal cheddar. It's really sharp and tangy, really salty. So this is the truth. A human being can live a healthy, wonderful life on cheese only.
Really?
Cheese has minerals, full of minerals. So if you take a nice hard cheese, you'll get those crystals, those little crunchy. That's all mineral. That's not salt. They don't add salt. It has its own minerals. So it's very high in minerals. It's very high in cholesterol. It's very high in vitamin A. And it has saturated fat. And so you can live on it. So I use it as my backup, and I love good cheese. I lived in Switzerland, so I learned, and in France, I learned good cheeses. And they're aged. They're aged 3 years or 2 years.
That's crazy.
Americans can't make a good cheese because they want to sell their product and they don't want to wait a year and a half to make their product money.
Yeah.
What I was going to say also is something important that I saw. So I had friends who were into the nourishing traditions. They were eating good food. They had crispy nuts and they were doing bone broth. And then they decided they wanted to sell some food and make it to sell. And every one of them, wonderful human beings, really good people, very smart, tried to find a cheaper way to make it mass for money.
That makes sense.
So they stopped using good oils, and they started compromising. I said, "What are you doing?" She goes, "Well, I know, but it's so expensive."
It's so expensive.
And I said, "Then maybe you shouldn't mass produce it.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just keep it for yourself and make money out doing something else."
Yeah.
So anybody making money on food is going to denature the food. Eventually, you will have a less product.
Yeah.
No good company is able to put the love and all the really good ingredients into a packaged food that they want to sell you at the store.
Yes.
It's never going to happen.
Yes, I
so
believe this.
for people think it's going to be in there, I want to go, well, that's kind of...
I have actually had people on the island tell me, you should sell this. I make and the minute I have to put $1.
You can't make any money at good food.
No, I said I would have to sell this for $100 and no one would pay it. And also, my time, energy, and effort to make it was 8 hours, So, it doesn't always make sense, but we have
it's
smarter
so capitalism. And but it's true. When I came to America, I spent a lot of time in Europe, so we would eat great food, and no one ever said, "Oh, you should open a restaurant. You should sell this." They come back to the States, the first thing, "Oh, you should sell this." I'm like, I don't want to sell anything. I just want to eat good food. For Christ's sakes, it's very funny, but you can't make it good enough and affordable. You just have to make it to eat. And ironically, really good food is not that expensive.
Yeah,
if you buy
really
bones, my biggest expense is cheese and butter and dairy. So I know. I believe meat is fine. I don't eat a lot of meat. I do. My husband likes meat, so I eat steaks and stuff. But I generally am more of a dairy person. I get my nutrients more from lacto-fermented dairy, raw milk, and cheeses, and butter. And that's enough. I don't really have to eat meat. I do think it's good for me to eat some bone broth sometimes because I want variety and flavor, and I eat soup. I make a lot of soup. But I use cheese, and because I eat like this, I don't eat very much. I never would eat 3 meals a day. I mean, 3 meals a day is too much for people. Humans aren't supposed to eat 3 times a day. That's kind of weird.
It's a lot.
It was kind of designed for the industry to work. You know, it was a way to keep people working.
Yeah, keep going. Like
Slavery.
when you're getting tired, just eat, and we can get a couple more hours out of you.
And by the way, this is also very interesting. So all the powers that be, all the monarchs and dictators, put the peasants on starch to keep them working, keep them eating. Because so potatoes, corn, beans.
Yeah.
Soy. These were things that were fillers and kind of basically gives you energy to do something, but no nutrition, no bodybuilding, no healing, no repair going on at all. So it's all just calories. And in the end, and ironically, I don't know if it was intentional, but it seems intentional. But to get people to eat like that, they don't go very far.
Yeah.
Because they have to keep eating. When you eat carbohydrates, you have to
eat
eat every couple hours.
Yes, instead of when you eat fat.
You have 6 hours, you eat a good saturated fat diet, 6 hours you're not going to be thinking about food. You're kind of free.
It's free.
You can go do stuff. You can make something, you can build a house, you can paint a painting, you can write a song, and then you go, I think I might be hungry 6 hours later, but you're not going to go, I got to eat. And you see that carbohydrate, that insulin, that's an insulin thing for you.
Yeah.
Because insulin's going, we got to get the sugar out of the body. So as soon as you eat it, your body doesn't need it. The insulin says, okay, give it to the liver, make it fat. We'll turn it into all the adipose fat tissue. And then you're empty again. Then you're like, oh shit, I got to eat. Because glucose in the blood is dangerous. It does many bad things. Inflammatory, it coagulates, causes free radicals to damage cells. It's very bad in the blood. Insulin wants it out of the blood as soon as possible. So that's the conundrum of a no-fat diet puts you into an obese or a diabetic situation.
Yeah.
They're the same thing.
Yeah, right. And that's where we are nowadays.
More,
What did he bring in?
Pig meat from our hunter.
Pig meat, as we're talking about pig.
Boom! Take a picture of that.
He just showed up with the pig. And we're
Oh,
talking about
they
eat more
hunted.
pig. This is
They
great.
killed a pig.
Look
Our
at this,
hunters
this is
killed
all
a pig.
clean and everything, ready to go.
Nice.
Wow.
And he met Michael on the way out, and I think Michael's got a bigger freezer,
Oh, great.
so we might want
Look
to
at
figure that out.
there.
Nutrition.
You'll be taking some too,
Nutrients.
sweetie.
Vitamin
Yes,
D.
all right. I'm happy. And these pigs are happy pigs. They're running around
Oh my God.
romping.
Well, they got tons of vitamin D.
Yes, they
Because
got-
they're outside.
They're outside, free-range pigs, and they also eat all the fruits from all the lands. I am so grateful for you taking the time to just like talk about nutrients.
I didn't even know you were recording us earlier. I was like, is she going to do this yet?
Well, what I
Then I
noticed,
saw you looking and I went, I think she's recording.
yeah. So what I always
Excuse
see
me.
is that when people will like, I get to the place and I sit down. And I think I'm going to do like a formal introduction and this thing. And everybody just like starts oozing. And so I just like, as fast as I can, hit play because I don't want to miss any of it,
No, it's
So-
good. It's better that way.
It is. And then you're already in yourself. Like you're already in Francis with me instead of like when camera, I feel like the energy of camera can change us, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of just allows you to be like, oh yeah, we were just talking about this thing. And then we always can cut in and cut out and make it what it is. So thank you so much for being here and just like sharing about nutrients and then also the full body of like guilt-free ways to like eat the food, feel good about it, remove the guilt, and then also some concrete things to take away. Because if you take away 1 or 2 of these pieces, it's going to be worth it,
Well,
It was-
cheese.
cheese,
Take
salt.
away. You can take, cheese has salt.
Yeah, cheese and your salt. So you're good. Just cheese. Just take away
No,
one thing.
if you, and the thing that is sad is cheese is demonized. Everyone, I can't eat cheese. Stay away from cheese. And it's like, oh my God, it's because the cheese here is so shitty.
It's the U.S. cheese. Stay away from U.S. cheese.
Good aged cheese, and it tastes. It's so good. It's so wonderful. It's so complex and so healthy. And children love good cheese.
They do. I'm gonna
They
get
love
cheese.
cheese. That's why they like the goldfish.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, stop giving them the goldfish. Give them the real cheese.
Or and my kids eat butter too. They love butter.
Yeah.
Like kids want to
Kids
eat
love
the
butter.
Yeah.
Oh, kids love butter.
And they need it too for their brains. All right,
And their
you.
teeth.
Yes. Okay, I'm
Thanks.
gonna hit stop recording. You're totally fine.